All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is September 29th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Had a bad day today. Lost 1,800 on a 27K account. Not too proud of that. Not used to trading with a small account, but I will get used to it rather quickly here. Let's go take a look at the markets, all right? Gonna have to turn that around really quick here tomorrow. Make some amends for that. All right, here's QQQ on the 10-minute chart. All right. QQQ on the 10-minute chart is, I don't know what to call it on the 10-minute chart. It's barely an uptrend. It's hardly a downtrend. Just kind of consolidation, just kind of sloppy consolidation over to the right in a bear flag fashion. Still consolidating over yesterday's, still holding up over yesterday's price action. That's bullish to me. If I include the pre-market, looks like I'm looking at a head and shoulders right there. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I was looking to see after we bounced off of, well, the uptrend line or the anchored VWAP from the beginning of the month right here. Okay, so after we bounced off of that, and look at that on this chart right here. Let's take a look at it on the 15. Okay, so, and there it is right there. Okay, so we came in close to that area, but we bounced off of support right here, and we came up over the all-time high anchored VWAP this morning, all right, on QQQ. So that's a good sign, all right, but I needed to see a little bit more bullishness coming into the end of the day. I didn't see it, all right, so, you know, we may be selling off again tomorrow. We'll see. I didn't see it on the QQQ. All right, let's take a look at the 2-hour on the QQQ. 2 hours in an uptrend. Daily chart. Daily still in an uptrend. Price action, again, higher low, higher high. They went up there and tagged that high from almost the all-time high right there. If you look at the price action, there's the all-time high. And we almost went up there to the all-time high this morning. But anyways, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. So sword is pointed in the wrong direction. All right, I like it when it's pointed up, and then we curve up. This is kind of curved over. Notice more wick than body and tail, showing me more bearish control, more sellers having control, more bears having control of the price up here. So not really a great sign. Not for me anyways. So there's QQQ on the daily chart. Okay, up here at the top of quadrant 4, that's still bullish. All right, up here. And we're still in an uptrend. Nothing's broken yet. Not a big fan of this candle. We were up here before and we got 2 red candles. Not liking the sword candle, not much at all. But we'll see what happens. I wanted to see much more buying come in at the end of the day. That was clearly not enough for me. All right, right there. We should have been up over VWAP and kind of consolidating and actually kind of bull flagging, launching. Should have had a launch pad up here and launching off the top of that VWAP there. And that didn't happen. But let's look at the good news, okay? We had a bullish gap up, and the bears, even though they had control of the candle today, okay, they failed to fill the gap. All right, that's a big sign, okay? This right here, this would be this low. Let's put this on the low. Okay, so this low right here, this would be, I forget what that was, but that was the FOMC 25-point basis cut announcement right here on the bottom of that candle right there. So pretty sure that's what it was. And you can see price action up over that. That's a good sign. So we were under it, kind of created an inverse head and shoulders, and now we're back over it. Okay, it's kind of imperative we kind of hang out over this line right here. All right, on QQQ. All right, so if I put the all-time high anchored VWAP on, that would be right here. You notice we're up over that as well. Okay, on QQQ. So we're up over the 25-point basis cut, and we're up over the all-time high. Those are both good signs. All right. I'm not sure if that was the basis cut or if this one was the basis cut. Either one's going to be over it, but regardless, there's QQQ. I was looking for a little bit more bullishness, but again, looking at this right here, the bears never filled the gap. That's a good sign that the bulls held it up in this area right here. So that's kind of bullish leading into tomorrow a little bit, not a lot. All right, so there's QQQ. Let's take a look at SPY. On the 10-minute chart, again, if you look closely, there's air, all right, in between today's low, price action low, and yesterday's close, signaling the bears got this close and they still couldn't fill the gap. All right, that's a good sign. That's a great sign. Bullish gap up and the bears failed to fill the gap. That's a great sign. Like to see us spend more time over VWAP, but I guess they want to let the bears do their thing right through there. So that's a bullish sign for tomorrow. There's SPY. On the 10-minute chart, we have a 10-minute uptrend. It's not a very strong uptrend, it's just a 2-candle uptrend. And we're looking for continuation tomorrow with that 10-minute uptrend, all right, for SPY. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart's in a 2-hour uptrend. You can see the 3 EMA is up on top of the 8 EMA. So that is a bullish uptrend there. On the daily chart, that is the all-time high, this one or that one, either one. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Up here at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, so that's going to be, that's bullish. I'll zoom out so you can see it. Okay, so there's up at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend right there. This is the low. This is the high. So that's bullish and in an uptrend. So, I mean, I had a bullish bias today, but what I bought just decayed all day. All right, it's like the bulls didn't want to step in. I guess they were too busy fighting off the bears. All right, for my option to go up. So, not a great day for me on one of my options right there. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM higher low, higher high, closing over the cross. Okay, the 3 EMAs crossing over right here. So closing over the cross and closing over, that would be the 3 crossing up from underneath, up and over the 8 EMA. And price action right here, got the 17 EMA. Again, the trap and the price candle up over the rising 17 EMA. As you can see on QQQ, again, up over a rising 17 EMA. In SPY, okay, up over a rising 17 EMA right there, okay? Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow, same kind of candle. Much better looking than SPY, I gotta say. Nice little hammer going on there. Price action, I like see the tail. See, that shows me bullish control. Even though it's red, that's a lot of bullish control right there. All right, because the bears brought it down and they couldn't hold it down, and the bulls brought it up and they kind of closed it up here rather than down here. Shows me a little bullish control. Diamond Dow should be looking good to go long on calls tomorrow based on that candle. That's looking good. Price higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross up over the rising. See the rising 17 EMA up here at the top of quadrant 4. All right, and still in an uptrend. We haven't broken anything yet. Okay, so Diamond Dow bullish and in an uptrend. They all are bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, FNGU higher low, higher high, closing inside of the bearish trap, but over the rising or the flat 17 EMA here, up in the middle of quadrant 4. I'll zoom out. Up in the middle of quadrant 4 up here, that's still bullish. That's still in an uptrend. That's FNGU on the daily chart. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Let's take a look at silver first. All right, silver puts in a new 14-year high. Okay, doesn't get any better than that. I'll zoom out. You can see there's quadrant 1 down here, 2, 3, 4, and there's a space between the 14-year high and the all-time high right up here. Okay, so new 14-year high for SLV. That's doesn't get any better than that. All right, it's bullish and in an uptrend, in case you didn't know it, making a new all-time 14-year high. All right, so let's take a look at GLD. GLD making a new all-time high up here. Okay, that's bullish and in an uptrend. I'll zoom out. You can see where it originated, where it came from, and where it traveled to. Okay, all the way down here, 160 up to 350. Okay, you can see gold, that new all-time high, bullish and in an uptrend. All right, let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG putting in higher low, higher high, closing over bullish cross and over the 17 EMA. Still in a downtrend, okay, hasn't made any higher highs, and still consolidating down here in a bear flag down at the bottom of, or right in the middle of quadrant 1, okay, down at the bottom. This is bearish down there. Let's take a look at USO for today. Okay, USO, again, we gave it to them on Friday, bullishness up here. They lost it already, okay? Like I said, they have struggled, okay? Could be all those EV cars, I don't know. Anyways, price goes up and gives it up, all right? See how it goes up? This is bullish, quadrant 4, okay? Goes up and gives it up. Again, it goes up, quadrant 4, all right, and gives it up. Goes up near the upper third and gives it up. Goes up to the upper third and gives it up. So we're just neutral again, okay, on USO. It didn't last long at all, did it? Maybe like 6.5 hours, and that's all for that bullishness on USO. All right, so here's USO, lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap and under a flat or a wavy 17 EMA here. We are on the bullish side of the the all-time high anchored VWAP, which is a 3-year high. That's post-COVID high. Anchored VWAP right there. So price action, as you can see, it's not in the upper third, all right, of the quadrant lines. It's not in the lower third of the quadrant lines. Okay, so it's not bearish, it's not bullish. So it's neutral. Again, they go up, they give it up. They can't hold the higher ground. Okay, so when they learn how to hold the higher ground, all right, you'll know. They'll be ready, okay? So there's USO. It's neutral and still in an uptrend for USO. Let's take a look at our technicals. Okay, let's start off with market breadth. That's T2101. Again, we're increasing breadth. Actually, no, we're not increasing breadth, and we're actually decreasing based on that candle, but all in all, we're just flagging over to the right. So it is much better than being down here. And the markets are bullish. That's a good sign that more money or more capital is stepping into the market based on no longer being down here. We've got to look at where we came from and where we traveled to, and we're holding this area right here. Hopefully we see it break up and move up and make a higher high, all right? So that's where we are right now on market breadth, okay? Not very strong right now, okay? Remember, last time we were here, we rallied off of the COVID bottom, okay? That was the last time we were here. We had a reversal, all right, for the COVID rally, okay? So this was where we were before, all right, about 5 years ago, all right, for the 2020 COVID rally. All right, so here we are, market breadth. Not much better than where it was on Friday, all in all. It's an improvement over the day before, all right, or a couple days before. Anyways, 24th there. That's T2101, okay? Nice to see the bullishness come in and the market breadth increasing. That would kind of give us an indication maybe capital is coming into the market. Very well could be those end of quarter contributions to those IRAs and 401ks. All right, here's T2122, and you can see price action. We left off here. All right, not a good sign. We came down here into the seller's chop zone, and we camped out all day inside the seller's chop zone. Knocked on the door of the buy zone. They really wouldn't let us in, so we just stayed inside the seller's chop zone all day, making, of course, you can see here's lower highs and lower lows down here. Well, we made again lower highs and lower lows from the day before, so not a good sign for T2122, hanging out in the seller's chop zone and underneath the midpoint right there. T2123. This is the rubber band candle. We still haven't broken it yet. This is a bearish gap that has not been filled by the bulls. Not sure what they're waiting for. And this is the 200 SMA. I don't like being under the 200 SMA. I like being on top of it. This is a 15-minute chart, and we have a high here. So we made a higher high, but right after making a higher high, we made a low, and then we created a lower low right here. Now, did we make a higher high? No, not really off of those. So we're still, we got ourselves out of a downtrend based on the opening, all right, of today. All right, but you can see we quickly lost it, made a valley low, and then came in and made another valley lower. So still in that 15-minute downtrend. Looking like a bear flag. You see how price moves from up to down. These things never work when I need them to work. Okay, so it moves down and then over to the right. Okay, so that's a bear flag right there. Okay, still haven't filled the bearish gap. That's not a good sign. Still underneath the 200 SMA. Not a good sign. Still in a 15-minute downtrend, not a good sign. So not very many good signs. On the 15-minute chart, let's take a peek at the 3-bar chart. All right, I'm going to trash those out. Okay, let's just get rid of those. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. All right, 3-bar chart, we're in a bull flag. As you can see, price action, okay, goes up. All right, and then it comes over to the right. So that's a bull flag right there. What I don't like, all right, we're up. What I do like we're up over the rising 200 SMA. That's what I like. I like that we haven't made any lower lows. This is the last low, so we have to come all the way down here to break these lows in order to get into a downtrend, unless, of course, they produce a lower high and a lower low, in which case they come back through and take out the higher low, all right? Then we would have a downtrend on T2123. This is the 3-bar chart, all right? So we're up over 200 SMA. You can see price action. Let me zoom out, okay? That's up in quadrant 4. See, it's up in the top of quadrant 4, okay? So that's bullish. All right, and in an uptrend right there on the 3-bar chart. Remember, the 15-minute chart was in a downtrend, all right, and in a bear flag. This is in a bull flag and in an uptrend right there. Okay, the prior all-time high is right there. Okay, you can see how much higher we are, and this is the all-time high right there. We just made that a couple weeks ago, all right? That's the all-time high on T2123. Still bullish, still got a bull flag, still over the 200 SMA, okay? On the 3-bar chart, we're looking good, all right? On the 15-minute chart, not so much. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. All right, FNGU producing, I'm going to call it a bear flag. Price comes down, all right, and then price pulls up like this, okay? So that's kind of a bear flag. Usually the next move winds up being like this. All right, we'll see what happens, but that's just what we got now. Let's take a look at what happened today. All right, let's take those off, get them out of the way so I can have a clear picture of what's going on. So we'll take these out and not. Wish I had my drawing tools. All right, so let's look at what happened. Bullish gap up. I see air on FNGU between the low of day, all right, and yesterday's close. Okay, so that's a clue right there. We're bullish. Whenever you see that happen, that's a clue. When the bears get that close and they can't fill the gap, that's a clue. All right, markets are still bullish. So there's FNGU. Gapping up over the 200 SMA, quickly losing it after 6 candles here, and then just kind of melting off, letting the profit taking occur underneath VWAP here, but not letting gap fill occur right there. On the 15-minute chart, okay, we are, well, we're in an uptrend because there's a high, and we made a higher high, okay, and this, call this a low, that'd be a lower low. I'm just going to call this the low right here. So we didn't make a lower low yet, so we're still in a 15-minute uptrend. Okay, we're under the 200 SMA. Not my favorite place to be, okay, under it. I like to be over it on FNGU. We follow FNGU because it's got 6 of the most heavily weighted securities. All right, excuse me, 10 of the most heavily weighted securities, okay, that are in the SPY and the QQQ. All right, so we follow this because when those 10 move as a pack, all right, they tend to jerk the indexes right along with them. And you can see nothing but bullish gap up and then kind of just melting off with sloppy melt off all day, finding themselves underneath VWAP. But, you know, holding the higher ground over the prior day's consolidation and the day before's consolidation and the day before's consolidation. So all in all, that's a bullish outlook, holding up this high here up over 1, 2, 3. Yeah, see 1, 2, 3. 3 days of consolidation right through here. Okay. So there's FNGU. All right. All right. So, yeah, not much. Not much on FNGU. So that's it in the markets today. I struggled all day. I had a bullish bias, and I traded this, and it got away. And I'll put this up here. And let's move over to the right. Today's not my day. All right, so I traded this one right here. You can see I bought calls, and I made quick profits right there. But then it got underneath the 200 SMA, and you can see it never turned around or bounced all day. No bounce, no turnaround. All day, just melted off all day. So I got taken to the woodshed by this one right here. Okay, on this one, 664, 0 DTE. Bought the dips and sold the highs. Made 1,200 on those. Okay, made 1,100 on these. Again, bought the dip and sold the peaks up here of the option candle. So I made 1,100 on those. Made $8 on this. You know, buying the low, double down, sold at the high. Again, it was a struggle day because I bought way up here, had to double down and get out at break even. So only made $8. This one had some puts. This was working out fantastic. Okay, I kind of got discouraged. I had a big order up here to sell at 65 cents. All right, and I was waiting, and it got up to 64, and it hovered there for like 40 seconds. And, you know, 40 seconds seems like 5 minutes when you're waiting for them to take your 100 contract order up at the highs up there. And then I flipped it to 64, and then they dropped to 64, went to 63, and then just kept going down, 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 down. So I got emotionally discouraged by not getting filled up here at 65, and I didn't want to chase it down because I thought maybe there's a chance it's going to dig out a lower low. So you can see price coming down for the gap fill. All right, it did hit minor support right over here, but I was looking for it to hit a gap fill or at least get within a penny or two, and it never did. Instead, it just it rolled over and went the other direction on me. All right, so totals, like I said, I struggled all day with this right here, but I'll get it. I'll get it. I've done this before. So here's price action. You can see I was making good money on these puts, buying the dip, okay? In other words, selling the rally, okay? And profiting on the dip. So you can see here's the dip. See all the red dots? I'm selling. Each one of those is a sell. Of course, you can see I'm buying low and I'm selling high my puts, and I'm making good money up until I'm just waiting for that drop into or near gap fill, and I never got it. And here it does this big wonky rollover. Instead of going up here to hit VWAP, it's just stopped short, and then they roll over, put in an exhaustion candle, and then they bounce off of that, and then they head back up to VWAP. So any target I picked today just didn't seem to find a place. Okay, well VWAP did, but not till after they rolled over and made a lower low, which was like ridiculous. We did have a little bit of buying that came into the end of the day, but I'm going to say it was not impressive. We did not wind up on the north side of VWAP here, okay? What I did notice is the bullish gap still not filled, all right? That's a bullish outlook for tomorrow in the fact that they failed. The bears got within a couple pennies of filling the gap, and they couldn't get it done. So there's SPY. That's what I traded today, and I happened to make 689 on those. Actually had about 2,000 on this, but I wound up taking a huge hit with this. See this? I wanted it to come into here, and instead it did this 10-minute closed out the candles, then came back down and came almost to it, which was right there. By then, the day's running out of time. I just closed off my contracts. I probably could have held them and probably got close to 64 cents again. All right, I probably could have got that, but I didn't. All right, it looked like a 10-minute uptrend was developing, so I wasn't willing to play a 3-candle dip into this right here. So they juked price up and down and up and down and up and down and then back up again. So it was not an easy day for me. Okay, so that's it for me for today. I will see you guys all tomorrow. All right, we'll do it again. Hopefully with much better results tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow will be a new day. We'll start off, and hopefully we'll find some good trades for tomorrow. Okay, so thanks everybody for hanging out with me. I'll see you all tomorrow. Small loss is okay. Yes. Small loss is okay. Big loss is not okay. Okay? Small loss is fine. Big loss is not okay. All right? All right, thanks everybody.